Hi, it's Alexis. How are you guys? So I'm Alexis Pierce from alexispierce.com if you don't know me, and if you're on the replay, hey, oh wait, now that I can film landscape, I have to turn sideways to read who's here. Hey Jennifer, thanks for joining. Can you guys see me landscape? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes if you can. Otherwise, I'll flip it back to portrait. I heard that we could video landscape now, so I thought I'd give it a try. Hi, oh good, awesome, I'm glad it works. Cool, although now I have to read sideways. Anyway, so I'm Alexis Pierce. Thanks for being here. So what I do is I'm a life coach and a strategist. I used to be a strategist in the US government, and I use the same strategic framework to help people with their lives. And I do three things. Landscape works if you update the app. Oh, did I update the app? Does it work for you? I'm not sure if I updated. Let me know if it's working. Otherwise, for those of you who are watching me sideways, then you can read the comments. Oh, okay, but can you see me okay? Am I the right direction for you? And then I'll update the app later. Anyway, so I want to talk about Tantra and why Tantric sex techniques are so important to your business. Like, you need them. But let me tell you why I even talk about it at all. Because a lot of people get confused. They think, aren't you a strategist? Like, aren't you somebody who's a life coach? Why are you talking about Tantric sex techniques? So I'm also a yoga teacher. I have 800 hours of training in yoga, years of experience teaching, something I'm really personally invested in. I teach currently. But beyond that, it's good for you. You updated the app. Okay, well, if anybody is seeing me sideways, go update your app and come back and join us, or just watch sideways because I'm going to have to turn my head sideways to read the comments. And then we'll update. So what I help people do is three different things. I help them figure out what they want, which is huge, right? We don't know where we're going if we don't know what we want. Then I help you plan how to get there. So a lot of people, especially if you own a business, you struggle with the implementation of like, I have this big dream, but I have no idea how to get there. And then the third piece, and this is the most important piece that so many of us miss, learn how to embody who you want to be. So in your big plan and your big vision, you are somebody, and we need to practice being that person now. And this is where the Tantra comes in, because what happens is when I work with clients, where they're really tripping up is not on their vision. They have an imagination, but they might not always want to use it, and not necessarily even in the planning, but then in actually becoming right now the person that they want to be and finding the practices to implement on a daily basis to be who they want to be. So this is why I love Tantra. So if you go to Google, maybe you came on this because you're curious about tantric sex techniques, like that's cool too. But if you go and you Google tantric sex techniques online, what you're going to find is like, sit across from your partner and look in each other's eyes, or place your hand on their chest and feel into their heartbeat. Amazing practices, like really beautiful practices to connect and deepen your intimacy in the moment of a sexually intimate experience. But what they don't give you, and what you can't learn online, is how to learn how to tap into and manage and then channel all of your own energy so that when you come into that experience with a partner, you actually have something to bring to it. You have energy that you're working with. And this is where it gets really key and really important for teacher. Oh, you teach Kundalini. Yes, exactly. Kundalini is also a tantric practice. So I'll just define Tantra really quickly. So there are sacred sexual practices in Tantra that most of us in the West think of as Tantra, the full complete thing. And of course we think that because of the Kama Sutra and Sting and all of those wonderful people who talk about, you know, sex going on and on for ages. But Tantra is also a philosophy, and it was a time period, like the Renaissance period. So what Tantra suggests is that there's duality in life, that there's a oneness, everything is one, but we experience that oneness in duality. So we have light and dark, masculine, feminine, good and bad. And that also we can get to that experience of oneness through experience. So we can test things out. So yeah, we're going to feel happy sometimes, we're going to feel sad sometimes. And both of those experiences give us an opportunity to learn and to find our true spiritual nature, or find our true nature of oneness through those experiences. So that's why sex is on the table in Tantra. Because sex is just another experience. It's another experience that we can learn from, and we can learn to reach that state of oneness by really combining that masculine, feminine energy, which is the duality, into an experience of oneness. So that's a basic, really quick summary. Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, so any yoga practice nowadays that you see that involves practices that are experiential practices, they're part of what I would call a tantric lineage, or under a tantric philosophical umbrella, because they're about doing a practice and experiencing the results for yourself and learning from it. Instead of the opposite would be Vedanta, which is another philosophy where you know the oneness is there, and you sit and meditate until you realize it. Not a lot of experience. Hey, thanks for joining. You'll see me reading all the comments sideways because I haven't updated my app, but thanks for joining. So Tantra's about experience. It's about really getting down and dirty with everything to try to find the truth of yourself through it, and sex is one of them. But what the Tantric, the sacred sexual practices of Tantra really gift you is the ability to tap into your sexual energy. And the amazing part of your sexual energy is that it's really, really powerful. If any of us have ever felt it, it's kind of overwhelming, right? Like it can just get rid of all thought. It can get rid of everything and you just focus on it. It's so, so powerful. And I'm going to talk about 4 different major benefits of your sexual energy and why they're so important to your business. So the first benefit, I'm just going to look down at my notes too so I don't actually. So, okay, so we just covered that, but I'll talk about it. So Tantra is a philosophy. And it's a way of exploring the world. It focuses on duality and it focuses on experience as the way to find out your true nature. So you don't have to just meditate and realize it, but you can go out and play until you find it. So you can have horrible experiences that show you that everything's connected, or you can have really uplifting experiences where all of a sudden you feel that connection, but you can experience and trial and error and try to and just explore the full range of the human experience instead of meditating and like trying to find that awareness through the one channel of knowingness. That was a really complex sentence, but hopefully you got what I mean. So within the Tantric philosophy, there are sacred sexual practices, and these are really, you'll hear them referenced. If you haven't heard of Tantra before, you'll hear it. It's in like Sex and the City. Sting has done a couple of interviews on it. It sometimes gets wrapped up in other Eastern practices related to sexual energy. There's a whole lineage of chi sexual practices that go about it differently, but sometimes they're confused. But Tantra is the sort of yogic or tantric sexual practices, or a yogic approach to coping with and managing and navigating your sexual energy, because it's a really, really powerful energy and we can use it for a lot of good, which is why I teach it to entrepreneurs, because we can really use it for good. And I'm going to give you 4 reasons. I'm going to look down at my notes so I get it clear, because I want to make sure I give you the right thing. So the first one is that Tantra, it really raises your vibration, because when I've referred to Tantra or the sacred sexual practices, the ones that you do on your own to prepare yourself to have a partner experience, or to prepare yourself to have like a bigger sexual experience with Tantra, you practice A, accessing your sexual energy, B, enhancing your sexual energy, and then C, moving that energy, so harnessing it and channeling it how you want. So there's 3 steps to it. We have to figure out where it is, like how do I get in touch with my sexual energy? Then I want to build it. How can I build it? How can I make it bigger? How can I really take advantage of this energy? And then move it and channel it towards what I want. So of course I could channel it to a sexual experience, or I could channel it to something else. Because it's energy, right? Energy's energy. So I can use my own energy any way I choose. And the beauty of the sexual energy is it's creative energy. So let's go backwards out. My 4th point, I'll make the first point, which is that Tantra actually really connects you to that creative energy. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're continually creating, maybe you're writing all the time, maybe you're coming up with new products, you're continually giving webinars, or you make products, or you're giving speeches, like that's a lot of creation. You're giving out, you're giving out, you're giving out. And what tantric practices, the breathing practices, help you do is learn how to access that creative energy within you. So the body on its own, we've all felt that feeling of like, I'm tired, I'm drained. We use the words drained, right? Which imply that we're empty, like that something has come out of us. So in order to refill, we don't have to refill from outside of us. We can refill from the inside. And what the breathing practices, the sacred sexual breathing practices of Tantra do, is they help you build that energy within you. You find that, you access the sexual energy, and then you build it. And then you're able to channel it. So they give you a way to tap into your creative energy so that you can continually create things, which is amazing and really, really helpful in business, right? And you can imagine the sexual energy, of course, is your Yeah, it is your creative energy, because sexual energy is where, as women, we create, right? Like, it's that creative bringing into life force. And that creativity could be literal life in childbirth and creating a child, or it could be metaphorical creativity or birth, like a project or some sort of art form or something that we want to bring into the world. So I'll just pause here and give a definition of masculine and feminine energy, because somebody asked me this yesterday on a webinar, and I think it's a really good point. There's two ways to think about it. In the yogic context, we view masculine energy, or at least what I've been exploring, is that we view masculine energy as this pure potentiality. My teacher calls it a sea of pure potentiality. All of these things that are possible in the world, but they can't do anything, because all they are ideas and concepts. Like, they don't know how to come to life. And then the feminine energy is that creative force. It's that ability to take potential and move it into reality. So when the masculine and feminine energies come together, that pure potentiality can meld with the energy that's of creation and boom, bring it into life. Now, you may think, okay, great, that makes a lot of sense conceptually, but that's not how I think of masculine energy. We also think of it in more like layman's terms. We think, okay, I'm in my masculine energy when I'm in the process of planning, structuring, creating systems, providing like a foundation. Like, think of your home, the foundation of the building, the physical structure of it would be the masculine energy of the home. And then the feminine side is the creative, the flowing, the sometimes chaotic movement. It's the emotions. It's sort of the soft innards. So if you think about your home, it's the decorations, it's the pillows, it's the blankets, it's the colors, it's all of that. So two very different concepts, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what we're talking about with masculine and feminine energy. So when it comes to running a business, like I do and many of you do, then we need to use both. We need to use both our masculine and feminine energies, and everybody has both. This isn't about gender. It's about the way that we describe energies in the body. So we all have the masculine side. We all have the structure and the planning and the system side. And then we all have the feminine side. It's the creative, the inspirational, the emotional side. But a lot of times in business, we tend to move to one or the other. And Marie Eddings, who's a energy healer in Australia, or an energy worker in Australia, talks a lot about this. She's amazing. It's M-A-R-E-E instead of I-E. So Marie is M-A-R-E-E, Eddings, E-D-D-I-N-G-S, if you want to look her up. She is amazing at talking about unresourceful feminine energy and resourceful feminine energy, unresourceful masculine energy. So, and resourceful masculine energy. So you may find that in your business, sometimes you're like, hammering. I've got to get this done. I've got to get it out. I've got to, hey, thanks for joining. I've got to, and you're so focused on the drive and the structure and the systems and like what has to happen in the business that you feel drained. Again, that's a sign that we're draining the feminine energy. On the other side, you may feel like completely overwhelmed, depressed, really upset, anxious about your business. Like, that's the far opposite side. That's the unresourceful feminine. So in that case, we'd need more structure. We'd need maybe a daily routine. We'd need a plan for our business. We'd need, systems that we're going to implement. Oh, hey, Jody, thanks for joining. Nice to see you. So we're talking about how to use sacred sexual practices of Tantra in your business. And I was just talking a little bit about why you would even do that. So if you're way too on the, like, my business has to work, I'm driving myself and just through the roof, and, you get exhausted because it's all masculine energy, and you've moved beyond healthy masculine energy into unhealthy, and we need to bring it back to the middle where we have the combination of the creative feminine energy and the structured masculine energy, which helps us get things out in the world. So the two of them combine to help our businesses strive, and we know when we're in one or the other because we don't feel good. We either feel like way too in our heads all the time, or we feel way too in our emotions and we can't get out of them. Another thing for females, and this can come up, and maybe it's come up for you, and it's one of the reasons I created my course on this and I got so into it, is I saw a lot of my colleagues reaching levels of success in their business as women and then not really understanding what was happening in their marriage. And from a purely energetic point of view, if you're in a partnership, you need those magnets to attract each other. So you need the masculine and feminine to come together. But if you're a woman who's running a business and you're continually in that masculine energy that business asks of you, and fair enough, business is asking that of you, if you're in that masculine energy, but you don't know how to balance it with the feminine, you don't know how to find that feminine energy within you and switch into it out of business mode, then you can't, there's no ability for, you sort of moved into the masculine side. You've moved into the masculine side, and once you're way over here, where is your partner going to be? The only option is for them to move into the feminine side. Yeah, there's no balance, exactly. So I really want to help female entrepreneurs learn how to tap into that feminine energy within them, because A, it's better for your relationships, and B, it's better for your business too. And it's better for you all around, because you'll be able to figure out, oh, when do I need my masculine? When do I need my feminine? When can I move between them? How can I find balance here? And how can I find that creativity? So first of all, these breathing practices in Tantra, the sacred sexual breathing practices of Tantra are awesome because they're creative. They're a creative force. It's your sexual energy is your creative energy. And so we want to tap into that creative energy. We want to tap into that sexual energy so that we can really support our creativity as business owners. The second thing is it raises our vibration. So when you're working with energy and you learn how to build up that energy within you and make it bigger and bigger and bigger, that's awesome. You're raising your vibration. You're just filling yourself up from the inside and allowing yourself to feel good without having to rely on external circumstances. And what's awesome about that is that you're then magnetizing other good things to you. So I know we're in the law of attraction here, but that's okay. It's energy. It's how it works. Yeah, good juju. Oh, I love that phrase you talk about. I forgot you. That's your phrase. I love it. So we want to raise the vibration. We want to feel good. And that's the other thing that the tantric practices really help you with, is actually feeling joyful. So this gets back to how I help people embody what they want to do. So figure out what you want, plan how to get it, and then become the person capable of living it. You want to feel how you want to feel. So we have to practice feeling how we know we want to feel once we feel successful. And what these practices give you is that ability to create those feelings within you. So when you are in touch with your energy, when you know how to control it, when you know how to build it and access it and then move it, you get to determine what your mood is. You get to determine how you feel. You get to determine how much energy you have, how much energy you don't, what you're moving that energy towards, what you're not putting it towards. Like, you're in control of all of that. Plus, you're feeding and nurturing yourself because you've made that decision or made that awakening, really, that by doing these practices, you actually are in control. Like, you don't have to wait for something to come and inject you with energy, like coffee, put it right in. Like, you can build up that energy on your own. Another really amazing part, and this is implied in the feminine energy, is that the masculine energy is the drive. It's that, like, I'm going to get this done. Awesome, right? Like, really, really needed in business. The feminine energy is the receptive, receiving. Huge in business because that's where we make money. Right? We have to let money in. We can't just keep pushing out. We actually have to allow things to come through this. Is this learning to be in alignment? Yes, exactly. So my big meta focus up here is alignment. So I help people in alignment in all different ways. And it's the plan alignment, align with your vision, and then align with actually who you need to be to get there. So these practices are really, really foundational, I've noticed, for me and my clients, in actually getting into alignment with who you want to be in your business and helping your business stay balanced between giving and pushing and the structure that you need to keep it going and the receiving aspect. And it's not just about money, it's also about being in the flow. So we may have this plan for our business of, like, it has to be exactly like this and it's going to work like this and I need these connections and this network and this and this and this, and then miss the opportunities that are gifted to us to truly expand. So what the feminine energy does is it allows us to ease up a little bit, to go, okay, it's all in the flow. It's all moving. I can see these opportunities. I can take advantage of this. Feminine energy is collaborative. So it's about partnerships and about building things bigger when you're together. So the feminine energy is really an important part to bring into your business and to balance in your business so that you can both create and receive, and you can have plans and have a vision, but then be open to the possibilities that arise as you go along the way, and to be flexible to what comes up. So really, really powerful. It's just an amazing practice. Does anybody have any questions about what we're talking about? I know I've been talking for a while now, but go ahead and type in any questions you have, because we've talked about all sorts of different things so far. We've talked about what Tantra is. We've talked about why you would do it as a business owner, the sacred sexual practice. I'm just going to look at my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, you know what? The one thing I touched on, but I didn't really touch on it too much, is the connection between happiness and success. So I don't know about you guys, but I noticed that when I'm really happy, like things are just easier to prioritize. Do I need a partner? Awesome. So let me finish the sentence and then I'll answer that question, because that's a really good question. So when I'm really happy, let's start with when I'm not happy. When I'm not happy, my business suffers. It suffers because everything seems like a problem. You know, I don't know if you've ever tried to schedule a webinar and lead pages in your website and your email thingy and all, Facebook ads and all of that. Like, all of these things have to happen. But when you're in your unresourceful masculine, when you're like way off balance and you're in that drained place, all of that seems like a major, major issue. And any little blip, like a bill that's late or something you didn't expect or a client sends a nasty email, like all of that stuff is really hard to manage when you don't have a reserve of energy in yourself, or you're just not feeling that happy. So another really awesome thing about the tantric practices is they gift you that energy, they gift you that creative energy, and they gift you that recognition that you can be responsible for your joy. And by doing the practices all the time, you're raising your vibrations. You're consistently moving into a state of how you want to feel. And when I'm sure you've had this, on a really good day, like, it doesn't matter. Everything just rolls off your back. Things that seem like they're so huge just don't seem that huge, and your priorities are really clear. And that's another reason it's so powerful for business, is that you can be clear on your priorities and you know what to put your energy on, and you know what's not worth putting your energy on, because it's your energy and you're in touch with it and you don't want to spend it on things that aren't worthwhile. So it's much easier when you're happy to just let everything go. It's also really awesome when you're happy, because then other great things happen. So I won these 2 kayaks last year, and for a long time I thought I won the kayaks at a baseball game. And I thought, well, I must have won them because 4 days before I'd been at this Abraham Hicks workshop, and Abraham Hicks talks about law of attraction. And, the better you feel, the better things that happen to you. So I thought, oh, well, it must have been because I was there 4 days ago and just all that energy was like rubbing off on me. And so I won these kayaks. And then about a month ago, I had this realization that what was happening at the baseball game is I was there helping out a friend who owns a yoga studio, and I was walking around and handing out tickets to a raffle for free and getting to talk to all these people about yoga and healing and all of these things I love to talk about. And I was just having a blast because I work by myself, but I love talking to people. I love connecting them with things that can help them. It's something I love. I love connecting the dots for people so that everybody can feel better. So I was just on a high. I was flying so high. I felt so, so very good. Then of course I won the kayaks because I was feeling amazing. So the beauty of practices that help you raise your vibration, that help you feel how you want to feel, is that you consistently have better priorities, you consistently attract better things to you, and you don't worry about the cruddy stuff because you know it's not worth putting your energy towards because you're in control of your energy. So the question about partners. So we started with this in the beginning, or we talked a little bit about it in the beginning. The partner practices of Tantra are amazing because then instead of everybody having masculine and feminine within you, you embody just your feminine energy, and your partner embodies just their masculine energy. And again, this isn't gender-based, so you could choose a different role. But then you ramp that energy up as much as you can. So these practices that I teach show you how to get in touch with that feminine energy and then build it so that you can channel it when you come into an experience with a partner and really bring that full feminine energy as if you're like a divine goddess channeling right through you. And it's not little you, you just become this like goddess, and it brings you all the way there, and you have the god of the masculine energy, and then combined those two energies come together to really explore that concept of duality into oneness. So man and woman merging into oneness, or masculine and feminine energy merging into oneness. Again, it's not gender specific. So it's really amazing to do the partner practices, but you don't need to. And in fact, much of the sacred sexual practices of Tantra are solo practices because you have to learn how to do that energy work for yourself before you can bring it into a partner experience. So you have to learn, what is my sexual energy? Where is it? How do I tap into it? How do I know how it feels? You know, all of those things. And then you have to learn, well, how do I build it? How do I make it bigger? And then how do I move it so that I can decide, is my sexual energy going into a sexual experience, which means it may be staying in the groin and the genitals and focus there, or am I going to move my sexual energy to my heart or to my third eye chakra so that I can have a more spiritual experience or a more open-hearted experience? You may have heard also about people who manifest through orgasm. Every now and then you'll stumble across an article like that in Mind Body Green of somebody who says, you know, I use an orgasmic practice to manifest. And what that is you're taking your sexual energy, and instead of funneling it towards the thoughts or the intention of a sexual experience, you take that moment where all of that energy's risen up and you move it with intention to something you want to focus on. So you can hold a soft focus in your mind, you can hold a soft focus in another place of your body, and you're moving energy to whatever it is you have your focus on. So really powerful practices, but you have to know how to get in touch with and move your energy and build it up to be able to really take advantage of them. So another reason I teach these practices is because they're pretty fundamental. They're just the basics of how to be in control of your own energy. And so many of us really firmly believe that we are responsible for our lives, and awesome, because we're out there creating amazing things. But we then sort of fall short because we don't have the tools to be responsible for our own energy. So we can do amazing things like gratitude practices and tapping and other things to help clear blocks and move things and get our mindset right. But the tantric work, the yogic work, gets the energy going. It gets the energy in the right place so that then all of that other work that you're doing, the self work or the mindset work, actually can be applied. It can be applied to something. And then when we have our visualizations, you know, we may have a visualization practice, we're actually putting energy towards that visualization instead of just having the visualization be like a mental exercise. You're actually able to then fulfill it. You're able to feel it and bring it into life in your body, and then intend to move your energy towards that vision. So really, really powerful. Is that making sense? I get so into this that sometimes I forget. I go into yoga speak and all over the place. So if you have any other questions, but basically this, you don't need a partner. And in fact, so much of this work is really, really powerful on your own. And some of it is just breathing practices. Some of it can be breathing practices with sexual practices connected to it, so that you have the physical experience of the sexual energy, that creative energy, and really can stimulate it and move it. And then some of it are absolutely partner practices, and that's more in a specific sexual context, but in the yogic view with a spiritual intent. So you're coming together to explore that balance of masculine and feminine energy, not just for the merging of masculine and feminine energy, but for the realization that, okay, as they merge, there's actually a oneness beyond it. So it's a very spiritual practice, which is why it's so powerful and people love it so much, because it really is unlike anything else. So this is, if you want to learn more about this, go to my website. It's alexispierce.com. I've got a course. We start Wednesday for women if you're interested. And it's just for women, especially women who run businesses, to go step by step through this process of first tapping into your sexual energy, because that's the first stage. So figuring out, what is it? Where is it? We know it's my creative energy. I know I want to get a handle on it because I want my business to really benefit from being able to build my energy and move it and shape it how I want. So we tap into the sexual energy. What is it? Where is it? How does it feel? And so many of us have a couple layers of crap on top to get rid of. So in the beginning, you may not feel very much. But that's why we practice, right? That's why we practice. So a lot of us have layers of exhaustion or stress that we need to get through. And so our sexual energy is like hiding in the corner, and it's like, please leave me alone. I'm tired and I'm overworked, because we may be so far in that masculine. Even really basic things like, if you're a mom, you may keep your kids' schedules or keep your household schedule. Even something like that that's in the female role in our culture is actually a masculine energy role. It's the structure again. So even things that you may think of as, hey, thanks for joining, even things that you may think of as female roles, that doesn't mean it's feminine energy. So we want to figure out how to tap into the feminine energy and the sexual energy that aligns with that. And then we move into learning how to expand it and then how to channel it. So we want to expand the energy so that we get the full benefits of having most of us live like way under our capacity for energy. And then we tamp it down with coffee, which actually like depresses the body. So we want to tap into the sexual energy, learn how to expand it, learn how to make it bigger, and then so we can channel it and bring it into our intentional practices of using it how we want. So you can use it in a sexual experience with a partner, or you can use it on your own and in your business and put all of that energy into your business. Yeah, David Daid is awesome. Yeah, he's awesome. There's so many people out there talking about these topics. So the piece that I really, really like to talk about is the individual, like the solo practices and the couple practices that you can do to help yourself feel better. Because this is the key missing piece that I've noticed with so many entrepreneurs, is that we've nailed the business side. We've got the masculine energy side down. And we've even nailed sort of the manifesting, like the mindset, the gratitude around all of that. But we're lacking that, how do I get in touch with my body's energy? And outside of exercise, which does it. Exercise will build your energy, but it doesn't tell you how to channel it and move it. So what I love about these practices is that, yeah, they help you channel, move it. Exactly, trusting the flow. And that's a really key outcome of getting in touch with your feminine energy. So your feminine energy is that creative energy. It's the collaboration. It's the flow. It's the trusting. It's the everything's going to be okay. It's the receiving. So that's your abundance right there. It's the receiving. It's the knowing that you're supported. Because again, the masculine energy is the structure and support. So the feminine energy is like the laying back in the sofa and being like, yep, I'm supported because the structure has me. So it's that trusting. And then when you're in that trusting space, you're able to have that real creative output and creative outflow. That was a lot. Does anybody have any other questions, or what other questions do you have, either about sexual practices or about how it applies to your business, or even about the course that I am teaching? So again, if you want to learn more about it, it's alexaspierce.com. I think you go up under work with me. It's Tantra for Women, and we start on Wednesday. It's going to be awesome. And there's a bonus practice that is a couples practice. So if you do want to bring these things out of the business context and into the bedroom, then there's a couples practice that walks you step by step through how to do that, which is pretty awesome. Whew. But you can always email me if you do have questions that come up after this, because I know this was a lot of information. We talked about what Tantra is, what the sexual practices of Tantra is, why you would use it, what the benefits are. If you have any questions, feel free to email me afterwards. You can also see on my website, you go up top that says webinar. It'll take you to a page for a webinar that was yesterday, and I haven't changed it to replay. But if you sign up for that, then it'll send you the webinar. And in that, I actually give a practice. I just want people to sign up so that I can make sure that people are old enough. But it's not like a raunchy practice at all. It's just a really basic get in touch with your sexual energy and expand it. But it gives you a feel for what we're talking about and how powerful the practices can be, even in 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Really, really amazing. And that's all the course is too. It's about 5 minutes a day of getting in touch and then moving it. And the last round of participants, like, just their experiences blew me away. They, like, even in the very first day, people had major openings. Everybody was responding differently to them. Actually, yesterday in the webinar, this woman, oh, hey, Rodrigo, thanks for joining. So yesterday, even in the webinar, we stopped the practice, and one of the women on the webinar checked her phone, and her husband had texted her to say, "You're so beautiful." So it really, really works. Like, the minute you move into these practices, everything shifts and changes. Hey, well, Rodrigo, we are just ending. We were just closing up, so hopefully watch the replay, because we covered a ton of stuff about sexuality, about Tantra, about yogic practices for breathing. Oh, cool. Then definitely watch the webinar. I need to go grab a glass of water because I've been talking so much. But it's amazing. And then, so watch the replay of this, and you can check out the webinar where I talk about this a little bit more and then give an actual practice. And then I also have a course. It's specifically for women. I'm working on creating one for men right now, but it's a slightly different topic, a slightly different approach. So the feminine energy, though, it's really powerful. We need that balance, and it's great to learn how to create that balance for yourself. So it's not constantly like a mental practice, or it's not constantly like, how do I get there? Or I've got all these pieces in place, but I'm still not experiencing it. You're probably missing the energy piece. So it's really great to get in touch with that and know that you have all the pieces. We just have to learn the tools to access them so that we have it. So always do time exactly. Well, but Rodrigo, you would still love this that we just talked about. So go ahead and watch the replay, please, because it's awesome. And yeah, if anybody needs me, you can find me on Facebook or alexis@alexisperce.com. It was lovely to talk to you. All right, thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.